Welcome to Brainstorm MTG. I'm ELD and this is Fast Effect, Double Speed Magic the Gathering. This is from our ELD Legacy Open at Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. And we've got a Goblin mirror match, round 4. Both of these guys are undefeated at this point, and only one Goblin deck will remain undefeated when the dust settles here. Steven on Goblins. Mark actually been borrowing a Goblin deck from me. Knew Mark from back in the day, and he has come back to Legacy, and as I often do, I am spotting him a Legacy deck as he gets these reps in. The most important thing is that people are playing the game, and we see Aether Vial here for Goblins, or for Steven. I guess I'm going to have to use their names here. And a Goblin Pile Driver, Rashad and Port on the other side, Mark a little bit slower here, and a Crater Maker who threatens to take out that Pile Driver or the Aether Vial. Three mana now for a War Chief, and if only damage stacked. He's got a decision to make here, War Chief or Pile Driver, and got to think War Chief is probably the safer bet. Just 2 cards in hand as he's trying to stabilize here. Haste, the more of the concern. And it looks like Goblin's going to be at 17 here. Matron. Gonna grab a Ringleader. Getting to 4 mana might be a little difficult here with Rashad and Port. We'll see how this goes. Aether Vial gives a little bit of inevitability on the other side, and actually another Aether Vial. So Steven likely to be able to use his mana base, for Rashad and Ports, and just kind of restrict Mark's mana in general. Going to end up probably in a situation where Mark has to port a port. Oh no, he's actually going to go ahead and wasteland it. Interesting. Vial, putting in Matron. For a Goblin Settler. Haven't seen that in a little bit. Recursion with Settler, definitely a beating. Geeky Jeeky with Settler, very spicy. Let's see if he's got any cards to support it. And 4 more damage coming in. I believe Mark down to just 12, and Settler getting vialed in, and he's going to call it there. Wants to leave plenty of time for games 2 and 3. The Goblin Mirror, not necessarily something that you're super prepared for anymore. Luckily, a lot of the cards that are just good versus general creature decks are totally reasonable in this type of matchup. Goblin Chain Whirler, a standout from Standard. Actually a 4 of in the new Challenger decks. So that card's going to be very, very affordable now. He does a ton of work. Goblin Sharpshooter, very solid at crowd control as well. Siege Gang Commander. A lot of ways to kind of keep in check all of the various goblins on the other side of the board. Warren Weirding, a very interesting card. Great addition if you're going black. It's a way of handling True Name Nemesis, while also giving you the ability to kind of power out extra damage with your pile drivers. If you had to place a bet on what decks would be undefeated at the end of 3 rounds in a Legacy event, probably would not expect it to be a pair of Goblin decks, but that's exactly what we have here. Goblin's doing very well versus really the whole gambit. I mean, we've seen this tournament off camera. I saw Goblins beating multiple combo decks and also having a pretty good time against many of the creature-based strategies. So it may be better positioned in the metagame than people are kind of willing to give it credit for. And we've got a turn 1 Aether Vial here for Mark. A much better start than last game. Steven answers with a vial of his own. And in these type of matchups, it's very often whoever goes first ends up in much better shape. Another vial. So Mark going to be very happy to use these vials to power out some goblins. Looks like his hand's going to be just full of bigger creatures, bigger goblins. And will this lackey connect? Does he have anything at 1 or 2 mana in his hand? And 2 mana, we've got a Crater Maker. And this guy is a bit of a problem. He can also potentially take out the vial. And a Crater Maker of his own. Did we just see a Gem Palm Incinerator? I'm not actually sure entirely what Mark did there. I was thinking he was just going to sacrifice his Crater Maker in response to Steven's Crater Maker. Now Goblin Sharpshooter. And that grabs a Matron. Now grabbing Ringleader. Not a direct answer for the Sharpshooter. Perhaps he already has it in his hand. Perhaps he's hoping to draw into it. Let's find out. He's going to go ahead and vial in Ringleader first, perhaps. There he is. The dual deck art. Pithing Needle, Siege Gang, War Marshal, and perhaps Trash Master. See if we can find out what that last card was. Cycling Gem Palm Incinerator. And attacking for 3. Mark in fantastic shape now. Though probably could have been in better shape with different uses of his Crater Makers. Looks like a Trash Master on the other side of the board too. Card that's not as immediately recognizable to me. It is a new addition to the deck, pulling some serious weight. And a Ringleader on the other side here. Finding a Pile Driver. And I'm not sure what the other one is. We will see shortly. I'm sure all of these goblins are going to be coming out sooner than later. Ooh, and Pyrokinesis. Clearing some stuff out. Ringleader off of Vial. And a whole ton of goblins. 4 for 4. Along with a Kiki Jiki. The Vial on 4. I mean, this is a super dangerous situation. I believe we've got the new Goblin Lord there. Going to be generating guys each turn. I believe that's what that is. Let me know in the comments the name of that Goblin. Siege Gang. 3 more Goblins coming in here. Does have mana to fling a Goblin. Doing some math. Krenko, War Marshal, Pile Driver, Krenko tapping. And that is going to be just an incredible amount of Goblins incoming. That's going to do it. So Mark taking that one down. Very explosive. Going into game number 3 here. Goblin mirror match. All tied up. Krenko, huge addition to the deck. That's one of the changes that we made. Mark had started with a net deck that was actually missing Krenko. Warren, Weirding, and Krenko were two of the first changes that I suggested. I believe they've gone over very well. Krenko there certainly ended things in a hurry. I'm a big fan of that card. Actually, the last time I played Goblins, I was using him along with Mog Bombers to KO people in one go. That was a lot of fun. I might have to dust that off. Again, seeing how well Goblins has been doing, they've certainly picked up a whole bunch of new tools. Crater Maker, Trash Master, that new War Chief. Oh, I bet you that was probably just actually War Chief with different art. That's my bet. That makes sense. That is the bad art War Chief. That's why I didn't recognize that. I feel bad because I actually lent him the deck. I may have to change those to the proper War Chiefs, if only for commentary purposes. An Aether Vial from Steven opening up, and a Lackey on the other side. Two standard openings here from Goblins. Let's see which one leads to a better start. Lackey can be very difficult to keep the way clear, especially when you're playing against Goblins. And he does violin. Lackey's trade. And a turn is passed. So not playing his land beforehand. Indicating that he does not have Gem Palm Incinerator. Turn 1 Lackey. Turn 2 Cycle Incinerator to clear the way. Very common fare for Goblins. And a 3-mana War Chief. Again, apologies for the art there. And Crater Maker gonna take him out. And now we've got a Pile Driver. Cavern of Souls powering out a Ringleader, and let's see how this goes. 3 cards, Ringleader, Siege Gang. I think Crater Maker was the other one. There's some spicy cards there. But no enablers here for Mark. He's just paying the honest retail price on all of these cards. Siege Gang, totally fine at 5 mana, but man, it's a lot better when it costs 0. A War Chief on the other side, along with a Lackey, and everything coming in. 8 damage to Mark, and a Siege Gang of his own. No 2 mana to activate it though, so let's see how this goes. This seems very, very far out of hand. Siege Gang, such a mirror breaker. Siege Gang of his own. A land, actually, a just crushing top deck here, if he does have one. Oh, and Krenko is plenty. Krenko, and again, powered by Warchief, just an incredibly powerful card in the mirror, or versus anything. It's a empty the warrens on a stick, and that guy gets the work done. So Steven winning the Goblin mirror match here in round 4 of the ELD Legacy Open.